Welcome to our lesson on active transport. The key questions for today are: what is active transport? When is active transport used? How is it different to osmosis and diffusion? How can you identify active transport? Key words that you will need to know are passive, active, dilute, concentrated, respiration. Active transport involves moving a substance from where it is dilute, not very much of it, to where it is more concentrated, there is lots of it, from a low concentration to a high concentration. This is opposite to osmosis and diffusion. Active transport moves substances against a concentration gradient. This requires energy from respiration. Diffusion and osmosis are both passive processes. This means that they do not require energy, unlike active transport that does require energy. Cells that carry out active transport contain lots of mitochondria to provide this energy. Glucose and oxygen react in the mitochondria, releasing energy. The cell will use this energy to transport the substances against a concentration gradient. This means from where there is little of the substance to where there is more. Task: state the difference between active transport and diffusion. Active transport is used in root hair cells in plants to take in minerals from the soil. The minerals are often at a higher concentration inside the plant cells, so it requires energy to take in the minerals against the concentration gradient. Plants require minerals to be healthy. In humans, active transport is used in the small intestines to absorb glucose. Towards the end of the small intestines, glucose will be at a low concentration in the intestines and high concentration in the blood. Active transport is used to absorb the glucose into the bloodstream against the concentration gradient. Glucose is used for respiration, so is needed by every living cell in the body. Towards the end of the small intestine, most of the glucose will have already been absorbed into the bloodstream, meaning that the concentration in the blood is higher than that in the small intestines. So active transport is used to absorb the remaining glucose into the bloodstream. Task: match up the descriptions to the transfer process. Osmosis is always the movement of water from a dilute solution with lots of water to a concentrated solution with less. This means that osmosis is when water moves with the concentration gradient. Diffusion is the movement of particles from high concentration to low concentration, so again with the concentration gradient. It is active transport that moves substances against the concentration gradient from low concentration to high concentration. Task: complete the following AQA exam question. The image below shows an epithelial cell from the lining of the small intestine. A. 1. In the image above, the part of the cell labelled A contains chromosomes. What is the name of part A? 2. How are most soluble food molecules absorbed into the epithelial cells of the small intestine? Draw a ring around the correct answer. B. Suggest how the highly folded cell surface helps the epithelial cell to absorb soluble food. C. Epithelial cells also carry out active transport. 1. Name one food molecule absorbed into epithelial cells by active transport. 2. Why is it necessary to absorb some food molecules by active transport? 3. Suggest why epithelial cells have many mitochondria. D. Some plants also carry out active transport. Give one substance that plants absorb by active transport. Extension. The diagram shows 4 ways in which molecules may move into and out of a cell. The dots show the concentration of molecules. Which arrow, A, B, C or D, represents the active take-up of sugar molecules by the cell? Explain the reason for your answer. Arrow C represents active transport of sugar molecules, as it is moving the molecules against a concentration gradient from low concentration to a high concentration.